Hey guys, it's me Jocelyn. So today I'm going to be showing you some AE inspired transitions on funimate. So let's just get started. First things first, the first transition is going to be the Minimax blur with exposure. So what you want to do is you want to have your two photos set up like this. You don't even need two photos, you could just have one. Go into keyframe, hit add, and then go ahead and slide down until you find Minimax blur right here. You can increase the intensity or whatever you want. You can increase the way that it appears on your screen. You can change the color of how it appears. It's really cool. And you can change the direction in which it appears. I personally like this direction right here where it just goes all over. And then you're going to want to turn up the intensity to whatever you feel you like. I'm just going to turn mine up to 20. Then I'm going to add a keyframe and then turn it back down to 0. Now I'm going to go to the graphs and then make a custom graph, just like I usually do. You can change the graph any way you'd like. And this is just the blur by itself, just like this. Now go ahead, and if you want to add the exposure, go back onto add right here, slide down until you see exposure. The really good thing about this is that they're all in alphabetical order, so it won't be too hard to find what you're looking for. Now you can increase or decrease the exposure in any way you want. I'm going to turn my exposure up to about 17 on the first keyframe, and then at the end I'm going to turn it back down to 0 on my second keyframe. Then I'm going to do almost an identical graph to the first one I did on the Minimax blur, and this is the final result. This kind of resembles the BCC lens blur on After Effects because just the way it looks, I really like it, honestly, and yeah. Okay, this next transition is going to resemble the circle blinds with turbulence on After Effects, or better known as S_wipe rings, I guess, with turbulence. So you're going to want to have your photos set up like this. I have one of them set up in the layers category right here, just on top, and then I have my bottom photos right underneath it. So what you want to do is you want to go to the very first part of where your second photo begins, go to keyframe, and then go to add. Now slide down just a little bit and then you'll find circular blinds right here. Now you can go ahead and add that. I'm going to go ahead and just do this so I can see my bottom photo underneath, and then you can always increase the radius, which kind of just determines the number of circle blinds that are going to be there. I like this much right here. I'm just going to leave it at 30, and you can also change where you want the circle blinds to appear, like in the corner or whatnot. I love when they appear in the corner because I don't know, that's more my style, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna just put mine down here just a little bit, and now I'm gonna go to progress, and I'm going to make it so my first photo is still appearing. I'm gonna add one keyframe at the beginning and then one at the end, and then I'm just gonna turn the progress down to 0 so you can see my second photo. Now I'm just going to go into the little graph, and I'm going to make my own custom graph. You should definitely copy mine if you're looking for more of a smooth effect. This is what it looks like, just like this. I really like that, honestly. Now I'm going to go ahead and go on to add, and then I'm going to scroll down to where the T section is of the letters, I guess, and I'm going to go ahead and add on turbulence right here. I'm not going to add too much, but I am going to add enough. I also like how when you add turbulence, you can't really see it on the beginning photo because a lot of editing apps do that and it's very stressful, so I like how you can't see the turbulence at the very beginning. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. I'm going to turn my amount up to 30 on the first keyframe, and on the second one, I'm going to turn it back down to 0. You could definitely also change the amount you want it to shake or have the turbulence on, but yeah. I'm going to go ahead and add my outgraph right now, just like this. And I might go ahead and touch up the turbulence as well because I want it to be a little bit more intense. And yeah, this is the circle blinds with turbulence. I really like this one. I used this one on my first funimate edit. The next transition I'm going to show you how to do is the flow motion. So go ahead, tap on your photo, and then go to keyframes, and then add. Now scroll down until you find flow motion in the select effect category, which it will be right here. Okay. So now you're going to want to go on to amount 1, add a keyframe, and then go to the very end of your photo, and then add another keyframe. You can either increase or decrease the way it's going. I'm going to go ahead and do -59 for this. Then I'm going to go ahead and make a custom graph just like this. So it'll end up looking like this first out. Now you're going to want to go ahead and go on to amount 2 and do the exact same thing. And I'm just going to make my progress -59 again. And I'm also going to try and make sure to do the exact same graph as well, because you don't want them to be not the same length or like not going the same way. So this is what should start out looking like. You could always do it the opposite way if you want. It doesn't really matter. It's honestly your preference. It's just the way you would want to do it. Now go into your second photo, which should already have flow motion added onto it if you added it onto your your first photo. Now add a keyframe, and you can make -59 go to +59, just like this. Then go down to the end of your photo and change it back to 0. And make sure you're on amount 1 when you do that. And then do your out graph or your custom graph, whatever you want to call it. Now go on to amount 2 and do the exact same thing. And yeah, this is what the flow motion should look like. I really like this one. I think I actually did the opposite. I think I should have done +59 the first time, but that's okay because it still looks super good. And if you added a little bit of exposure onto this photo right here, let me do that real quick, you could definitely have a really cool effect. And yeah, this is what it will end up looking like. I really, really like it, honestly. So yeah. This last transition is going to be a light sweep with a rotation. Now, this one shouldn't be too difficult if you already know how to use keyframes and such. So yeah. So go ahead and go into your photo and then go to keyframes. I'm going to go and select mirror and then just select this option right here. And I'm going to turn my motion blur up to 100. You guys can do whatever settings you already have. Then go on to rotation, add a keyframe at the beginning, and then go to the end of your photo and add another keyframe. And I'm going to change the rotation to about -90, I would say. You could always do +90, it's just the way I prefer. Now I'm going to go ahead and add on my custom graph, and it should start out looking like this. Now go on to your second photo, go on to rotation, or the keyframe and then rotation. I'm going to mirror this one quickly again. It should already have the settings applied if you applied them to the first photo as well, so don't worry about that. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the first keyframe from -90 to +90. And then I'm going to change the last keyframe to back to 0 degrees. And then I'm just going to do an out graph. So this is what your rotation should look like, or something similar to this. Now go on to keyframe and then add, and go ahead and the select effects and look for light sweep right here. Fun thing about this one is that you don't have to go into the position and move it. You can move it with your finger. So I'm going to go ahead and move it with my finger, and I'm going to move the light sweep up to here. Now I'm going to add a keyframe right there. And at the very end of my transition, I'm going to move this little light sweep all the way down here. I'm also going to make it a little bit more intense, so just let me increase that intensity real quick. And this is what it looks like without a graph. I'm probably going to add one. This is what your transition should end up looking like. Oops, I added the wrong graph. It should look something like this. And yeah. I love the light sweep. I've been using it a lot more on After Effects itself, so the fact that Funimate has it added is honestly super cool, and I really like that. So yeah, that was it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and comment down below any tutorial requests you guys might have. Also, sorry if my voice sounds a little raspy. I literally just woke up, so yeah. I love you guys. Bye!